Hi, this is Josh from Plugin Machine again. I'm going to do another longer video, this time about building a settings screen for a WordPress site using React. I did a short video about how to set this up, but I didn't really show how I would do that with React, like what it looked like. So I'm gonna do kind of a longer video now where I just build a plugin using Plugin Machine. So I'm gonna log in here. Create new plugin. I'm going to speed through this stuff, and then there's a shorter version I'll link to. So let's call this seaweed. Make those snacks. I like those ones. So we'll just fill that out here. Doesn't have a code base. Let's choose our features. So that way we can have it set up a admin page for us. So we'll enable admin menu pages. And then we'll just call this one settings. That's going to be the menu slug there. And then the title will be. We'd also have it just give us like a blank template page. The template as a PHP function. It'll link you a JavaScript file with some jQuery. Let's go fancy. I think this is becoming more and more standard in the WordPress space that you'll have basically a single page application as the UI, like React built or Vue. WooCommerce comes to mind. Looks really nice, a lot of the new stuff that they're doing in there. So I just downloaded this. And again, there's a link in the video description I'll put to the video that's like just how to set that all up. This is more of a what you're going to do with it, longer video. We'll see how it goes. I got some fresh coffee. We'll make plugin. Open the README up here, and it's gonna have us do like yarn. And also, I'm gonna split my screen here and just start building the local development. And I should script all this with the CLI. That would be neat. So there's a Docker Compose setup here for local development. So I'm just gonna start it and then run these two commands just to get the local development environment working. Goes a little slow when I'm recording and running the yarn install over here. So WordPress is now installed. And now let's just create an admin user. Right, I just ran WP CLI create user there. Oh, cool. Let's just close that and check that this is working great. And so let's. Pass. It was accidentally more secure than intended. And then yarn build. That'll just create the dist folder or build folder here. Everything we need. Great. Like this is the compiled JavaScript or whatever basic screen it gives us here. Right, this is a form that does some stuff, but it just doesn't look good. And when we go into like what's set up, like this is registering that JavaScript with the WordPress scripts. We could add a CSS file here if we wanted. And then there's a basic REST API here, get and set endpoints, but they don't actually do anything. Like this is the callback. It's just returning an array, and then this just returns what it gets. So that's not particularly useful. So let's do this. Settings equal get option seaweed settings array, right? It's always, I'm like tempted just to return settings, but then I always end up having to refactor it into like part of the array. So let's actually copy this down here. 201 maybe, but our settings will be something like first name, and then first name, and then let's keep that enabled setting. It's kind of neat. Or like maybe like type. I don't know. We use a select field maybe. That'd be nice. We'll call it type 2. Oh, except for this should be coming from, sorry, I got distracted by coughing. It should be, it's trying to write Laravel for me. Request get param first name. And so we're going to need to add arguments here as well. Type is the type string. Required equals true. Cool. Neat. I mean, we could add some more validation, but like, we're gonna want to save this as well. Right. Cool. And we probably want to add a little bit of sanitization and validation server side, but this is more about React. This was just using what I had to build a basic API. I built the JavaScript, but I didn't like start the watcher. So let's do yarn start. It's cool. This will build it and also create a map, so that way your inspector like console is kind of useful. So this is now not the right stuff. Also, I have a this package here, imaginary machines, WP admin components. I'll link to it in the video description. This is just really helpful for building components, like setting screens that look like WordPress. Like these components have no CSS on them. Like they just assume they're being used in a screen like this. So that's cool. Let's you can see this is like normal WordPress looking tabs, but it's a proper thing, like a proper like React app with real tabs, and it's also accessible. So check that out. I will link to it. So this app is set up with little API functions that get passed down, and they use API fetch, so the authentication is handled. Like I just had for permissions callback here, just like can the user manage options, and it will be the current logged in user. So, cool. I'm gonna take this thing here, just copy forms, so it'll give me most of what I need. This helps me build out a form that's using like a table markup, HTML table markup, because that's how traditional fields in the WordPress admin work. So this is going to be my settings. Like I expected that not to work, because for example, onSubmit isn't a function. So we'll just create one of these there. This is some TypeScript bits. Also, this function doesn't exist. We already do have set up just by the boilerplate set settings function here. And a way to track like loading for showing a spinner. Also, I'm calling using useEffect this get settings method, like the API one, and then it'll pass it back here. I do want to change this to settings, because remember I made a change on the server side here. Maybe let's split this over. What's that? Right, like the get endpoint's now going to return settings. So I need to change that. And that. And then that's good. This is going to be first name. Settings. Dot first name. Oh shit. First name, and then it'll be set settings. Settings, and then we'll spread in the new value for first name. So that'll work. And then the other one was this type. And so this will be settings.type. Let's give the field. Yes. So this is going to look very much like that, except for it will be type that we're setting. And then we just need to do save settings. Let's see what this looks like now. No, it's an error. Great. Of undefined reading map. Oh, because the select field like needs options. Options equals array. It will be like name. It's actually label equals 1. Value equals 1. And then let's just copy this guy down here. Add another one. 2. And then 2. See what that looks like. Yes, look at this. Let's look at what our default values should be here. Oh, so there are no like defaults here. We should definitely do that. That means equal WP parse args. And then type, we'll give it a default of 2. That's a good test for this. And we'll set first name to Josh. So let's see how that works. We refresh this. So that worked. That was incorrect here. See, it's settings.select. Should have been settings.type. And okay, cool. So it did select that, and then we'll just change this. Oh yeah. So we're not done. That was not so good. We want to, because we didn't prevent the default behavior, you can see it just kind of made a GET request. There has everything. We want to save this with our fancy REST API. I mean, arguably, we should just do it the way that the browser is designed to work, but React. So we have, we already had an onSave function. Like, let's not overcomplicate this. e.prevent default. And then onSave. Like, that was just created by the boilerplate from plugin machine. And then cool. Like, did that save? Yeah. It didn't pass over type, which is like, let's see what that did. It didn't say shit. Interesting. So first thing we're gonna look at here is components, app. Let's look at the state here. Does this change? No. Does this change? Yes. Okay. So that's a problem. No, it did change. Yeah. Okay, cool. So then if we go into we look at the source for app there. Let's see what settings are when we save it. Oh, like this is clear. This is gonna be wrong, by the way. But let's see. Like, 'cause that should be deconstructed to be settings, which I did here, but not there. But let's see what it comes back from the server with. Yeah, like type. I don't know what's up with type there. Cool. So that's just no good in general. And then if we reel and sidebar, we can also set one here. Why is type null there? Like, that's already bad. So let's check this. Why is type gonna be here? I don't know, maybe it gets screwed up by the save. That would be great. Because this was definitely wrong. So let's just look at this again. So this is set. This changes it. This changes state, right? State is correct, and then save. All right, type is set there, and then let's move the breakpoint to here and here. Settings, type is now set. All right, type is set when it goes to the API. That's what we wanted to see. Okay, so it's coming. It's a server-side issue, right? That's not getting done properly. And getting saved properly. Type should be a string. It should be required. Yeah, except for I made a typo right here. That was cool. I got to sort of do it. Show how React DevTools works. I'll link to the page for that. But it's just a Chrome or Firefox extension, React DevTools, that I'm using here, this components thing, to debug this. let's actually do this again. It's write going to the server. It's write coming back from the server. That's cool. And then if I set one here, let's see what it is when we refresh the page. Okay, cool. So it was that. Great. Yeah. Neat. So just one more thing that I think would be kind of nice to do is have like a dismissable notice at the top there. So let's copy that, how that works. Get rid of this thing we don't need. So this is a notice component. And then let's add, we want to make this dismissible, show saved indicator. Set show saved indicator. Use state, please. I'll default this to false. And div here with the notice. We'll just get back to this. Hold on. My intent was to move this form inside of here. Boop, boop, boop. And then this would be show saved indicator. Not my best save naming ever. Null. And if you're like, Josh, why don't you just do this? Because sometimes it'll render the 0 there. So instead we do this. So the heading will be just saved. Then we don't need a link. I think it'll work without that. And this will be in success actually. Is dismissable true, and then on dismissed sets show save indicator false. And then let's cut and paste this here, so that way after it saves, this is set to true. But let's hide it once. Like just to be sure, right when they click save, so it'll hide the other one. Maybe, I don't know, false. Yeah, it's a lot of re-renders. Let's get rid of these. Saved. And we can close that and it'll go away. Yeah, I didn't mean to have this here. But saved. And then we can click it. And then if we save it again, sort of this weird animation, but whatever. This is a video about how to use these components from this open source library that I have for creating a setting screen that's designed to, look like a traditional WordPress setting screen. If you wanted something that looked more like Gutenberg, just use WP components. But I started just building a WordPress plugin. Plugin machine took a couple minutes to get all this stuff set up that, like, look, I'm a nerd. I like setting that stuff up, but I don't want to do that when I'm just trying to do this. Like, I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about REST API. I'm thinking about validation on the server and layout here in the UI. I don't want to think about setting up a Webpack and all the other things that we didn't really touch on because we didn't have to, but there's local development, there's testing, there's a lot of set up for WP scripts with Webpack config that can handle multiple entry points that we didn't have to talk about because they had built the plugin using Plugin Machine. You can go to pluginmachine.com, sign up for a 2-week free trial. And if you want to see more videos about how Plugin Machine works or just how WordPress plugin development works, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks.